Inside her sleek, modern condo on the edge of Buckhead, Bambi stood in front of the bathroom mirror, shoulders taut with exhaustion. The circles under her eyes were dark, her skin pale against the vibrant robe she'd thrown on hours earlier, but she had work to do, calls to return, brand deals to approve, and a heavy invisible hand pressing down like a thick invisible hand. The afternoon started like any other in Atlanta. The video shoot was set for later that night, so she forced herself to ignore the dull ache that had been in her back for days, and the pounding behind her temples that came and went like waves. Her phone was buzzing nonstop on the counter, reminding her of missed calls and texts from her assistant, which she had hardly looked at for weeks. Bambi had been juggling her kids' schedules and filming scenes for the show while running on fumes. She had not slept for more than 4 hours every night while managing several business endeavors, and protein bars and energy drinks had taken the place of meals. Her mind would not stop racing, even when she remained motionless. She kept thinking about her marriage, the constant scrutiny she received online, and her waning tolerance for individuals she once trusted. That morning, her body gave her one more warning as she leaned over to pick up her bag, and a piercing pain tore through her. After several hours, nobody knew anything was wrong until her assistant showed up, worried that Bambi had missed the shoot and wasn't responding to texts. Her stomach immediately became dark like a tide, and she fell face first on the hardwood floor in the corridor. Rapidly arriving paramedics stabilized her vitals and took her to the closest hospital. Alarmingly low blood pressure, acute dehydration, and early indications of symptoms of acute tiredness. The doctor suspected that Bambi had not eaten well in days, had not hydrated, and was dealing with severe psychological stress. The hospital room was antiseptic and silent, with equipment buzzing softly. Bambi lay asleep, with an IV dangling from her arm. Nurses came and went, checking her vital signs and changing her pillows. The news spread swiftly, particularly among the actors and production crew who had just finished filming the day before. When Scrappy heard the news, he was in the middle of a heated discussion with his manager about the release of his upcoming EP when his cousin called. He barely finished speaking before Scrappy dropped his phone in a panic, freezing him in place for 10 seconds. He didn't ask any questions, he didn't hesitate, he grabbed his keys and he left the studio, his heart pounding, his mind replaying. Their last conversation over and over again. They hadn't spoken in 2 days. Not really words were spoken, but there had been no communication between them. And their recent arguments about parenting had turned into regular arguments about her career taking precedence over family time. He felt misunderstood when she accused him of not being emotionally present, and now that she was in a hospital bed, everything seemed unreal. The fluorescent lights above her were too bright, and the antiseptic smelled too strong. Scrappy felt a strange chill creep up his spine as he walked down the corridor, his footsteps echoing off the polished floors, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him like a boulder. The waiting room was so quiet that he could hardly concentrate. She was so still that something inside of him changed. Bambi had always been strong, graceful, self-assured, and tough. Even in her darkest hours, she kept her presence hidden from others. Now that she was broken, she appeared vulnerable. Her body resembled the lively lady he had recalled from only a week prior. The monitors next to her bed blinked continuously, but she stayed motionless, her chest rising and falling in short, deliberate breaths. Scrappy remained silent and without tears, simply staring at her as he processed the truth he never imagined he would encounter. Guilt quickly in for him. Despite all the warning signs, her persistent weariness, the annoyance in her voice, and the hospital room turned into a revolving door when her mother arrived, her eyes crimson and her voice shaking. He had been so preoccupied with his own stress. Erica was holding a bag of toiletries, and her look was inscrutable. The show's producers reached out to her in the hopes that she would make a statement, or perhaps even that a camera crew member would shut everything down. No cameras, no claims. For once in a long time, there are no distractions. As the sun set and the sky turned a dusky gray, Scrappy sat in the chair next to her bed and gently placed his palm on hers, causing unexpected bursts of laughter. He was what people thought. All he worried about was Bambi waking up. Road trips and vacations with the kids, but also more somber memories of screaming matches doors shut, quiet therapies which lasted for days. He started to wonder where it all went wrong. Had they been too preoccupied with fame and self-promotion? Had the outside world gotten in and ruined what they had? Scrappy didn't know the answers, but he was certain that if Bambi survived, he would perform better by midnight, not only as a partner but also as a father, listener, and man. The first time Bambi moved, there was a fleeting flutter of the eyes and a twitch of the… When Bambi finally opened her eyes fully, she appeared confused. Her gaze moved slowly across the room before landing on Scrappy. There was confusion, then recognition, and finally a flicker of something unreadable. She tried to speak, but her voice was too dry and weak. Scrappy leaned in, whispering something. No one else could hear, but it was enough. The nurse saw it and hurried in. The doctors gave a clear message the following day that Bambi had narrowly avoided a more serious collapse and that she would require rest, real rest, and therapy on both a physical and emotional level. For the first time, he focused on her, their family, and getting things right before it was too late. The afternoon started like any other in Atlanta, and Scrappy took it personally. He started calling, canceling appearances, changing schedules, and setting up a private wellness team to help her recover. The warning was clear. If she didn't slow down, the next time might not be reversible. Inside her elegant, contemporary condo on the outskirts of Buckhead, the heat seemed to be pressing down like a thick, unseen hand as the streets throbbed with activity and traffic moved in slow waves. With her shoulders tense from fatigue, Bambi stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Her skin was pale against the colorful robe she had put on hours ago, and she had business to do, calls to finalize return brand deals and a video shoot later, that day. She ignored the dull ache that had set in her back days earlier and the pounding behind her temples that came and went like waves as she forced herself to get through the exhaustion. Her phone buzzed nonstop on the counter, reminding her of missed calls and texts from her assistant, which she had hardly looked at for weeks. Bambi had been rushing around for weeks, juggling her children's schedules, filming scenes for the show, and managing several business enterprises. She was only getting 4 hours of sleep every night, so energy drinks and protein bars took the place of meals. Her mind wouldn't stop racing, even when she was sitting still. She kept worrying about her marriage, the constant scrutiny she faced online, and her waning tolerance for individuals she once trusted.